Our tapirs and our otters are chilling in here quite nicely together. They're so cute. Look at them just hanging out. Aren't they adorable? And I think they're pretty happy. Obviously, their group is going to get much bigger when they have babies because it's like a one family group. So when the otters have babies, their group will get bigger. But the tapir group will stay as it is. And look, they're foraging. Look, oh, the other ones come to forage as well. Oh, they're so cool. I really like the tapirs. I feel like they're such a strange looking animal. They're quite, like, interesting, aren't they? Look at that nose. Well, we need to keep expanding our zoo. And we've got an alert here. Oh, many guests think the tickets are underpriced. Ah, of course, because we've added more animals. So let's raise our prices slightly. It's still only 5 to get in. I feel like we can make it 10. I'm going to do 10 and 5 and do kids half price. I feel like that's fair because we've got quite a lot more animals now. We've got 3 species of frog. We've got our bush dog, which is still our most appealing. We've got the tapirs and we've got otters now. $10 I think is pretty reasonable for that. At least as far as how the game goes. The guests in this game are happy to pay extortionate amounts of money to see some animals. So we'll take it because we're putting it to good use. And how is our research going? I feel like our vet has made progress. Okay, they're carrying on with the Malayan tapir. We've got level 2 food, so let's put that on them. You can have grade 2 food now. And grade 2 as well for the otters. So when we unlock the other ones, we'll give them them. But at least we're giving them like grade 2 food. And our exhibits are... Is everyone enjoying their exhibits? I feel like this one... Yeah, they don't have all the layout. I thought I missed something with this. So they don't have all the layout elements. Let's give them... I'm going to give them like a few and mix it up for all of them. I'll give them all the misters. But then for the other ones, we can put in like the opposite. And then it should look reasonable. In fact, I think we can actually give them everything because we've rotated them. So I don't think you'll notice if they all have everything just because we've duplicated these. So let's make them look interesting. Give them everything. And they look much fuller with all of that. And now our Goliath frogs are at 100%, which is what we want. We want them to be 100% happy and healthy. I think let's expand the zoo a little bit further. We could do the habitat in this empty space we have here. And I think the perfect animal for that is the African Spurred Tortoise. Look at these guys. They're adorable and they're endangered. So we definitely want to help them out if we can. The only thing I'm slightly concerned about with these guys is the temperature because they like to be kept warm. So we're going to have to make sure we put in some heaters or something for them that can keep them warm when it is a bit colder. But they're generally, I feel like most of the year we're not going to need them. It's like 19 degrees now in the zoo and they're happy with 13. But if we give them some warm spaces, and obviously they'll be run through solar panels, we'll use like electric heaters that are hooked up to solar panels. So it should be fairly green energy that we're using. I feel like this is okay. And they'll be pretty happy. So they live in groups of 1 to 8. So it's up to 3 males and 7 females. And gregarious, all mature offspring are tolerated in the group. Oh, they're adorable then. So they're promiscuous. They just want a group of everyone. Although the male tortoises are territorial during the breeding season and may fight each other over access to mates. So perhaps we should just do 1 male and then females. Because I feel like it's probably not a good idea if to have them be fighting, you know, just for the sake of it. Let's have 1 male and then some females. If we have the maximum of 8 adults here, and let's say we've got 8 juveniles as well as 8 adults, that's 270 meters squared. That's tiny what they need. So 270 meters squared for these guys. But I do want to make the habitat interesting and give them some interspecies enrichment. So if we click on this tab here, we can see that they like to share their habitat with the Dharma gazelle. And these guys are critically endangered, so definitely ones that we want to be breeding. Now, if we look at their group sizes, they live in groups of 1 to 19, and it's matrilineal, so mature males related to the alpha become outsiders. So really, again, that's 1 male, isn't it? Yeah, oh, it has it here, yeah, 1 male and up to 19 females. So we want to make sure that we're not putting too many in here, and we're interrupted because we have an inspection report. Let's have a look. Okay, Okay, so taking care of them, we're doing a great job. Education isn't the best. Maybe we can do something about that, though. But for now, let's have a look at these guys. So if we're going for a group of 20 maximum, this is going to need to be, yeah, quite large. And maybe 10 babies as well, or 20 babies. What are we looking at? 2165 plus, was it 270 for the tortoise? I think we can make this work. And they also need a really low fence. They only need 1.25 meters, and the tortoises need 1 meter. So we can put a nice low fence in that's probably the height of this this fencing we have here, and create a little area here that the guests can enjoy. I think that'll be nice. So my plan is to give 270 meters squared for the tortoise, in case we have the maximum group size, and 2,165 square meters for the Dharma Gazelle, in case we have their maximum group size. So overall, we're going to need about 2,435 square meters, which is a pretty reasonable size habitat. And I do want to throw some water areas in there as well. So we want to make sure that we're hitting these land requirements in addition to giving them some space for water. And if we look at our heat maps, I believe our water circle, the water circle is here. So there's no way we're going to catch that with anything. Perhaps it is better to just leave our water hut here then, and we'll have a water area kind of in this zone that's covered here. That seems pretty reasonable. Let's map out the area then. So if we use the null barriers, and I'm going to use a small wooden habitat gate here. Our staff area is on that side. So let's put this maybe next to the solar panel we have here. Then we can use null barriers and just map out the area that we want. Okay, what's that looking like? 2148. Okay, so we can go a bit bigger than this then, and I think we've got it. In fact, if we just take this area back, that might be what we need. This is 2588. I think that's about right. With some water in there as well, this area here could be perfect. So maybe even if we extend it out a little bit, this seems to be enough area for them. So I'm going to delete this, and now we know that we're going to use this whole area here for the habitat. And for the habitat, I do actually want to use this small wooden habitat gate that we had, and next to the solar panel seems like a pretty reasonable place to put it. So I think I might put this in here, although I'm not sure it's level with the path. I think it is. I think it is straight. So I'm going to put this in about here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the barriers with the custom pieces, and then we're going to fill out the null barrier to go around them. I could have left the stencil in of the null barrier, but I feel like we're just going to be changing it anyway. Let's not worry too much. And to make the barrier, I'm going to be using pieces from where they're from. And you can see that both of these species are found in the Sahara Desert and the Sahel, which I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing right, but I think I am. And here it says the semi-arid savannas and shrublands of the Sahel and the Sahara. So we want to make sure we're using that as our inspiration for the environment. So we're going to want to create the kind of semi-arid savanna and shrubland that's found in the Sahel and the Sahara. And both of these species are going to be absolutely fine with that, which means we're going to be in Africa. So let's use the African pieces that we have. And if we go on construction, you can see if we filter by theme, we've got African and I believe North Africa. So there's plenty of pieces here that we can use. And we want to try and pick the ones that are going to be sustainable. So I'm going to be using more of the kind of, I mean, a lot of these are fairly sustainable. We've got mud and wood here that are pretty reasonable. What we can do is we can filter by material and then have organic and wood, and that's probably all we'll go for in this one. I don't think there's going to be any ice pieces. So let's use these and see if we can build a nice fence to go around the outside. Okay, so this is 2,760 meters squared, which should be plenty of space. And I ended up just going with these African fence pieces because they're already pre-built and they look amazing. Look at them. I thought they were so cool, and I love that they're all built with like sustainable materials already. So our work is done for us already. And they're very easy to also just mount a TV to after. My only concern is that they're not going to be high enough. So we need to check that out. Oh, this has just gone... This is just broken. Let's get the mechanic on that. They're right there. But they should be pretty good other than potentially not being quite high enough. Yeah, that's my only concern. I do also kind of think maybe this should be one further out. Oh, no, it's just an awkward length. That's why. Yeah. It's an awkward length because of this rope. So it's a little bit set back, but that's not the end of the world. I would like this to have some privacy because although the tortoises are completely fine with everyone, like their where species data it says that they're neutral and guests can even enter the habitat, I don't believe that the Dharma gazelle are happy with everyone. So if we go on their species information, they're shy. So guests can enter the habitat because they're not a danger to guests, but guests they think guests are a danger to them. So that's not fair at all to have guests enter that habitat if the animal's shy. And I want to make sure that we have some privacy zones, but we can do that when we add them in because I feel like that's easiest done when the animals are in there. Speaking of getting the animals in there, let's get our tortoises in. So they are the African Spurred Tortoise. We've got a few available already. And wow, they're so old. I forgot. How old do these live? Let's go on the tortoise. They live to be 60 years old. Wow, okay. And they can breed from 15. So we don't want to get any younger than 15 if we want to be breeding them. And they can breed until death. So they're going to have 2 to 6 babies as well per event. So we need to keep an eye on that. We can end up with loads of them if we have loads of females. Seeing as it's a maximum group size of 8, I think maybe let's get like 1 male and 2 females to start with. What was their minimum group size? 1. Okay, yeah, definitely. In that case, let's get 1 male and 2 females. Let's sort them by appeal. So we're going to go, this male has 0% longevity, which is a bit annoying. I don't want any that have that bad of traits. I think we're best going with this one here. They are 28 years old, so they're not too old either. Let's get them. And then females, we've got some good ones. These two are probably... This one's a great one. Let's go for her. And then, realistically, this one's a little bit older, but they've got better genes. So I feel like we're going to go for this one. Because they've still got plenty of time to breed. So let's get our 3 tortoises and put them into quarantine. And we've spruced up quarantine now, so it looks much nicer. It's going to be moved from the Animal Trade Center into quarantine immediately, because our staff are on everything now. They're just immediately on it. And I think this is nice because it gives the zoo a bit of different direction. It's not just a massive line running through the middle. We're going to have them split off onto little pathways. We can even have this one come down here now. So if we extend this path with 7 meters, let's put the path in here and hook that up. And then we've got a nice path running this side as well. And this is a way that they can deviate off. We could take the guests this way. Knowing that the Dharma gazelle are shy, we might adjust this so we can see how we go when they're in here as well. But I do just want to split up the guests so they don't end up just all cramming onto one path like they have here. Because it's a bit congested. It's a little bit congested. And let's put some boards up. So we've got great power here because of the solar panel. Let's check where that reaches to. We can pretty much cover all 3 of these sides here. This one is a bit less power, but we can still put some in here. Let's add in some education boards for the guests. Okay, I think that's probably good. And it looks like they've passed quarantine, so let's get them in. We select all of them. We can then move them into the habitat. And we're going to rename the habitat. to be African Spurred Tortoise. And we can change that when the gazelle are in there as well, but for now, that's all that's in there. And let's add in some donation boxes too before I forget about this. Probably in between the education points. Seems like a reasonable way to space them out. And they've arrived! Oh my goodness, they're quite big, aren't they? Wow, look at them! Oh, adorable. So this is our male here. It's a little bit bigger than the female. Wow. And we've got one of our females, and I believe they're bringing the last one now. Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, they'll be getting them there from the box. Look at them exploring. Well, this isn't super suitable for them right now. The terrain is completely wrong. They want it. They'd be happy with 100% soil. So I think let's give them some sandy soil area and also some water. And I want to put the water in this back corner over here because we've already got the setup for it over here. So let's do that now. Give them some water, and then we can terrain paint everything else to be appropriate for them. Okay, let's click on the habitat and click on our... Oh, the other one's in here now, on our tortoises. They can't access this area. They can't swim, but they can get to the water there. And terrain-wise, they've got tons. They've got absolutely loads of it that they can access. So that looks good to me. Now let's paint this up. And they actually want a little bit of grass. I didn't realize. I've just done it all to be sand and soil, but they actually want some short grass. So in that case, I'm going to make the area around the water kind of a beachy sand area, I think. And then we'll have a more soily grass area over here. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that as well. I think that looks good. Now, we're going to need some hard shelter for these guys, and we're going to need some heaters. I think the best way to do this is probably to give them a few small areas where they can seek shelter. And if we go on filter and filter by the species, you can see that they actually use the burrows. So that was lucky I didn't build them little huts. That's what I wanted to check. I believe these guys would dig a nest out. So probably somewhere in the sandy area. Near enough. I mean, this corner here isn't a bad shout to have it be around here. I think let's put this here. And this is like the tortoise's nesting site. And that is all of the shelter they need. And it's obviously warm enough because it's underground. So they've got a decent little burrow in here for the tortoises. I love the burrow animals. Oh, they're so cool. And we can put a special burrow cam on here, on this side. Let's add this in here. There we go. This is the tortoise burrow here. So you've got a nice little burrow cam for everyone to watch. And that can probably go down a little bit to like there. So everyone can see inside the burrow. Now these guys have got what they need. I'm concerned about how long it's going to take them to get everywhere. But this area I think is fine. We could put another little water area in somewhere else in case they get stranded. But I don't think they're going to stray too far from this area. So if we run into problems, we'll adjust the habitat because they only have a very small area that they actually use normally. And I don't want to give them... Obviously, this habitat is much bigger than they need. I don't want them to get lost on the other end and then be like, oh, we don't have any water when they actually do. I'm going to also put these on so every other board is educating guests about the tortoises. Because they are going to have some friends go in there that'll occupy the other slot. And now our guests are being educated about them as well. So that is very good. Now, they have their hard terrain. They've got everything they need environment-wise, apart from probably some heat. So I think what I'll do is I'm just going to build a few little additional shelters for them. And we could even make these out of the mud bases. I quite like this. Let's maybe make them some little mud huts that are nice and warm that can keep them going if it gets a little bit chilly. Okay, I feel like that has helped a lot. Like we've got good heat distribution now across the habitat because of these. So they should be kept fairly warm. I'm hoping that they're okay. This gives them more hard shelter as well, and they've got little heaters in them to keep them warm. Just, you know, when they're in there, they can snuggle up to the heat lamps, which I imagine they would want to do. Now, they have no enrichment, so let's make sure we put some stuff in for them as well. Although it is completely pitch black and we can't see anything. Let's put a curio ball down here. We'll add a colourful ball over there. Maybe another ball down here. Give them an ice ball, a rubber... I don't think they need a rubber duck in the pond, but we'll give them a melon feeder on this side. I feel like this is going to be very tortoise heavy this side, and then the gazelle will probably be running around. So if we give them the spike fruit tree and the melon feeder, that's probably enough food. We can add the sprinkler in as well near the water, although I don't want to scare off the gazelle, so maybe we put the sprinkler like over here. And that should be enough of a mix of food and toys. Yeah, they seem happy with that, and we can also obviously change that later on if we decide to. They haven't got good food quality because we haven't researched them at all, but we should have researched our tapirs a bit more now. Yes, we finished it. We finished our research on the tapirs. That's amazing. Right. Well, let's research the otters because they are next. And let's upgrade the food quality of our tapirs to be level 3. That's amazing, isn't it? We're doing a good job. It looks a bit sad in the rain, but I feel like it is generally quite good. And I think I might take out these floors. I wanted to add them for realism, but they keep clipping through the straw roof, and I just feel like it doesn't look nice. So I want to get rid of them. I'm just going to remove these now. I feel like that looks a lot better. Although I've now realized it's just because I had the roof on a bit off. Like they were a bit lopsided, which is odd. That is now central. I'm going to have to adjust all of these. I still think I'd rather have it without the other bits though, because they look much lighter. They've got a much higher ceiling now. There we go. And it's sunny again, so these guys can enjoy themselves. They're not doing much. I'm not going to lie. They're not doing much. Oh, we do need food for them, though. They've got the food enrichment, but we need to add probably a medium food tray in. I'm going to say add the food tray there, because everyone should have a pretty good view of that. And we can put some bedding in, but I don't really think we need to. These spaces aren't really for bedding. It's just a place to chill. And they've got their burrow if they want to sleep. So I think they're quite happy. The only thing these guys are probably missing is African grassland plants. Now, I believe the area we're going for, the semi-arid savannas and shrublands of the Sahel and Sahara, I don't think we're going to have many desert plants. I think it's going to be more grassland. But I'm going to look at what plants are in those environments, and then which of that subset we can actually realistically plant in North America where the zoo is located. And then we can add in some plants for these guys and kind of make this habitat come alive a little bit more. So as far as the nature we want to add, these are the desert and grassland plants that are found in Africa that are within the game. And of these plants, the subset that we can find in the Sahel, which is the habitat we're trying to recreate here, are these. And of the Sahel plants, these are those that would possibly be able to be grown in North America as long as we give them a bit of care. So this is the smaller list of plants that we're actually going to use for this build. And we can see that these guys don't want loads of plants, so we're not going to put loads in because that's also not what their environment is like. We're just going to put in a few plants and some rocks that will fit in with this. I think that's kind of enough. I don't want to do too much because they really don't want a lot of plants in here. And currently we're hitting the 14% mark, which seems to be quite good for their level of coverage. So I think that's okay. We could even thin out some of these reeds and stuff to make them a bit less in their way. I think. Maybe we'll shorten them slightly as well because I don't want them to be too obstructive. But, you know, at the end of the day, they're still reeds. Like, they're going to be quite large. I think that's good. I think that's a bit better. And it still makes it look natural for these guys. So yeah, 14%. They should be happy with everything in here. I don't think anything flagged up as, yeah, nothing's wrong for them. So they are super happy with that. That's what they need. So there's nothing further we really need to do for their habitat. I think let's learn a little bit about these guys. The African Spurred Tortoise, also known as the sulcata tortoise, is the largest tortoise of continental Africa and the third largest tortoise in the world. On average, the male tortoises have a straight carapace length of up to 86 centimeters and weigh up to 80 kilograms. While the female's straight carapace length averages at 58 centimeters with a weight of 30 to 50 kilos. So they're pretty hefty. The African Spurred Tortoise inhabits the semi-arid savannas and shrublands of the Sahel and Sahara. Superficially, the males and the females of the species look very alike, except for slight differences in the belly of the carapace. And the males can achieve a greater size than females. There are currently more African spurred tortoises in captivity than there are in the wild due to their popularity as pets. So this does provide an opportunity for pet owners to support reintroduction programs. African spurred tortoises are apt diggers and will excavate burrows to reach cooler, moist soil. On hot days, they will retreat to these burrows and enter a dormant state called aestivation. Upon reaching a certain size and weight of around 30 kilos, it is thought that African spurred tortoises experience almost no predation. Most mature tortoises in the wild die when they cannot right themselves after falling onto their backs. African spurred tortoises have keratinous spurs on their hind legs for which they're named. It's unknown what purpose these spurs actually serve. While African spurred tortoises are herbivorous, they have been seen eating carrion from dead animals from time to time, so, you know, keep your eyes on them. The male African spurred tortoises are territorial during the breeding season, and they may fight each other over access to mates. Otherwise, these tortoises tolerate nearby individuals, provided there are enough resources available. The mating season of the African spurred tortoises takes place from September to November, after the end of the rain season. Males will fight each other for the right to mate with females on their territory, with the larger males generally emerging as the victor of these interactions. The female tortoises then begin looking for a nesting site about 2 months after mating. The female may dig multiple nests before choosing the most suitable location to lay her eggs, between 15 to 40 per clutch. After laying her eggs, she will cover the nest back up with the excavated soil. The eggs then incubate underground for about 90 days until the hatchlings emerge from the nest. The mother provides no parental care to the nest or to the hatchlings, and many clutches and young hatchlings fall prey to predators such as snakes, lizards, or mongooses. So the young have to grow quickly in the first few years of their lives. And unfortunately, due to a vast reduction of their distribution area, African spurred tortoises are now considered an endangered species. Their decline can be attributed to multiple factors, including the use of grazing territories for domestic livestock, coupled with increased risks of wildfires, which deprives them of access to many important food resources, and many tortoises are illegally removed from the wild to be sold as pets. Several reintroduction programs have worked to bolster the wild populations in Senegal, which see high success rates. So hopefully we can keep reintroducing them, especially by encouraging pet owners, and we can get their numbers back up. And it looks like we've got a reward here. So we've got entry ticket profits of 3,500. We've got 5,880, so we smashed that. We've got loads. We're actually making quite a lot of money, which is great. I wonder what guests are thinking of our new ticket prices. It feels pretty small. They wish I had a toilet. They wish I had an umbrella. And they want more drinks, I think. Yeah, loads more drinks, particularly. Okay, so we need some more facilities for them. To be fair, there's just one shop down there, so we could do with some more stuff. Oh my goodness, it's raining. Well, it's snowing even, not raining. It's snowing. That's not going to be good for these guys. But I am hoping that the heaters are going to do a fair bit for that. So if we go on temperature, there's not a lot of area that's not covered. So like these guys are actually fine. Just come into the heat and you'll be fine over here. Yeah, obviously you're not going to like the snow. But I don't think it's going to be too bad because the trees are going to block some of it as well. We can put more of these huts in if we need to. I just wanted to keep it a bit less like artificially placed everywhere. That should cover more though. I think maybe let's add one more hut in. I think we can get a bit better coverage of this. There we go. I think that's a bit better. And they've blocked out a lot more of it here. So heat map wise, that could move a little bit towards the edge. And then when this actually gets going, yeah, we're going to melt a lot of the snow. I think this should be pretty good coverage for them. Because I don't want them getting annoyed by the snow. They're still pretty good right now. Like the habitat is pretty good. So I'm not too worried. And we want to all-star rating of 5 stars, right? Or overall of 5 stars. That's going to be hard. And we need 2,000 guests. Oh, 800 guests in the zoo. We get $2,000. That's not too bad. We're almost there. And what else? Oh no, we've got protesters. Why? Your welfare. Oh, you need to be fed. Let's call the keeper urgently. That's really not good. How are our keepers doing? Are they struggling then? Staff. Well, we've only got 1. They've said that they're okay. I think there is time, though, to get another keeper. In fact, let's hire one right here. You can start on the... Oh, they're through here, aren't they? The poison frog. Okay, it's okay. The keeper's here now. They're going to go feed them. I think it helps to have 2 keepers. I don't think their workload's too bad, but it's just that they can only be in one place at once, and we're starting to spread out. So let's train up this other keeper. We'll train up our vet, and probably our mechanic. Now they've got high workload. And then everyone else is pretty good, actually. I think that's okay. But 2 keepers is definitely a good shout. And we could probably afford to get a security guard at this point. So who is our security guard going to be? Powell Perrin. Or Pavel Perrin, I think. Cool. Well, he looks fierce. And they're wearing a robber outfit, so good luck to them. Just gonna menacingly patrol our zoo. Well, hopefully they catch some criminals. We could probably also do with a little bit more education for these guys. So let's put some speakers in. I think if we have them in the corners, actually, that's not a bad shout. We can have them on a decent range. They're just gonna be competing now with these speakers. Okay. Well, if we can position them in strategic locations where it's not too bad. I think actually even in here is a pretty good shout. Because they can get a much wider range on it. I think 12 here is good. And I'm just going to play around with the other ones so we can get enough space to have everyone have some speakers going on. Yeah, I think that's good. That covers it for now. Also, this whole hut actually could be taken down quite a lot. That's why these were in the wrong place before. I didn't realize that. Oh, okay. So we can raise this up. I think that's good. And then the whole thing can just be moved down. Yeah, that's better. Okay. Something like that. Because the hut doesn't need to be huge. There we go. That's more like the others. And we can spin them round as well, which I've not done. But they obviously don't need to be in the same... pointing exactly in the same direction. That seems cool. Nice and varied. And how are these guys doing? I think they're doing all right. They're just kind of like chilling out, aren't they? Walking around slowly. They're quite cute. And they've got their little burrow here. Is anyone asleep? No. No one's using the burrow yet, but I'm sure they will. But I suppose they've got plenty of space now. They've got plenty of options. Where are they, actually? All of them. If we go on animal welfare, there we go. They're all over here by the water. And just chilling out. But they are on 100% health, I believe. So that's pretty good. The nutrition, they want better meal quality. But we can't do anything about that until we get some more research done on these guys. How is our vet research doing? We finished it on the otters. Wow, we've done everything on the otters. That's amazing. Cool, we've got loads of education boosts then as well, and breeding. So cool. Okay, cool. Let's put them onto the tortoise then. They've already caught up. We might as well get the tortoise going, and then we can change our food for the others to be grade 3 for the otters. So now everyone was on grade 3 apart from the tortoise until we can research them a little bit more. But I think we're doing a pretty good job of looking after them. So I'm quite happy with that. And I think that's probably enough for this video. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like. It really helps the channel out. And I'll see you in the next one.